Why the Golden State Warriors are signing Demarcus Cousins. Now, as you all know, there has been rumor around ESPN that Andre Iguodala will not be taking the 15th roster spot, however, will be a part of the coaching staff. So I think that's honestly fantastic, but there is still one spot left, and I think Demarcus Cousins will be the perfect fit. So in today's video, we're going to be going through 5 players that could be signed by the Golden State Warriors, but why I think Demarcus Cousins is the best fit out of all the free agents left. So make sure you like this video, and don't forget, if you want more Golden State Warriors content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. Guys, 98% of you are still not subscribed, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel. But let's get into the first player we are going to be talking about, because that is Demarcus Cousins. So as you all know, Demarcus Cousins actually played for the Denver Nuggets last season and actually versed Golden State Warriors in the playoffs. Now, he put up a really good fight, and he actually averaged 11 points that series, 3.4 rebounds, and 1.2 assists. Now, it may not have been crazy stats, but you do got to realize that he was only playing an average of 10 to 11 minutes, and he was definitely a vital player for that team in order for them to do well in the playoffs. However, Golden State Warriors did get the job done and ended up winning that series. But I think it did show that Demarcus Cousins can still play, and Draymond Green and Steph Curry definitely made that noticeable. They did say that in an interview that it was happy to see Demarcus Cousins back in full force, and also to see him be such a vital role inside a Denver Nuggets roster. But now that he is a free agent, I think Demarcus Cousins would be perfect for the Golden State Warriors. He is honestly a perfect fit, especially for that 15th roster spot. He stands at 6'10", 270 pounds, and obviously, guys, he is a bully in the paint. He is basically this generation Shaq, maybe not as dominant, but you see what I mean, guys. He is an absolute paint bully, and I think that definitely needs to be added to the Golden State Warriors roster. Now, what I also think he does add is a lot of experience to this team. You know, a lot of the big men that are actually in the Golden State Warriors roster, they're all pretty young. You know, they are still some youngish players in that power forward center position. Obviously, you have Draymond Green there to lead, but you don't really have that big center that's a veteran, and I think Demarcus Cousins can definitely be that person. Draymond Green definitely plays that power forward position, but he does play a bit of a positionless type basketball. He's not really great on the post or anything like that, and that's something Cousins can actually teach to Kevon Looney, maybe James Wiseman, and all of that. So I do see an integral part not only on the court when it comes to, you know, providing points, providing rebounds or assists, but also in the off court where he really does help develop the younger players in Kevon Looney and James Wiseman. Now, obviously, with Draymond Green, he may be looking to leave sometime soon. We don't really know depending on the contract. So if that does happen, I think Demarcus Cousins would be a great backup just in case that does happen. So, you know, I looks at it from both angles, but Demarcus Cousins is definitely one of the players right now still in the free agency that is honestly the top pick to be the person the Golden State Warriors sign. The second player Golden State Warriors could potentially sign is actually Carmelo Anthony. Now, as you all know, Carmelo is getting a bit older in age, but I think he can provide a lot of veteran experience to this team. Last season, he did play for the Lakers, and he actually averaged 13.3 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, and 0.8 blocks, which is honestly pretty good for, you know, Carmelo coming off the bench and not playing too many minutes last season. So he actually stands at 6'8", 238 pounds. He's a great offensive player. We all know how great Carmelo is, but it is looking like he's may not at his peak anymore, and he is slowing down as age continues to get to him. Now, why I don't really see this as a perfect fit for the Golden State Warriors, one is that Carmelo definitely plays that small forward position, and that's already taken up by Andrew Wiggins, and also when it comes to the second unit, I feel like it's not really needed to get another scorer. What they really need is someone that can defend and maybe even a big man as well. So that's why I don't really see Carmelo as such a great fit. It has been also rumored that they are looking to get Carmelo. I think he could provide a lot when it comes to the offense side of things, but when you have Steph, when you have Klay, you know, Andrew Wiggins is now a great scorer, we got Jordan Poole. When you already have so many offensive threats, there's really no use of adding another offensive threat. So I think they could use for a good defender that can also shoot, and that definitely really isn't Carmelo Anthony, unfortunately. But don't get me wrong, no disrespect to Carmelo, he's honestly a great player, definitely one of my favorites growing up. You know, New York Knicks Carmelo Anthony could give you a bucket, so I absolutely love him still, but when it comes to, you know, this roster and the Golden State Warriors, I feel like he wouldn't be the perfect fit for that 15th spot. Player number 3 is Dwight Howard. So Dwight Howard also played for the Lakers last season, and he put up some pretty good stats with 6.2 points per game, 5.9 rebounds, and 0.6 blocks. Now, Dwight Howard didn't get a lot of game time as well last season. It was very lackluster when it comes to him playing consistent minutes, but I do think he did a pretty good job for the amount of minutes that he was playing. So it was around 13-12 minutes, which isn't really a lot, but he puts up some pretty good stats, which is fantastic to see. Now, Dwight Howard obviously is a defensive juggernaut. He can't really shoot the three, which is unfortunate, and obviously he's a bully in the paint as well. We all know prime Magic, Dwight Howard. That was honestly insane, but obviously age has gotten to him and he is a little bit older. And this is why I would put DeMarcus Cousins over Dwight Howard, due to the fact that DeMarcus Cousins is a little bit more skilled around the ring. Although Dwight Howard can honestly dunk it on anyone, he doesn't really have a soft touch around the ring. Yes, he is a great rebounder and so is DeMarcus Cousins, but he doesn't really have a three-point shot. DeMarcus Cousins, on the other hand, I think has a great three-point shot. Obviously, it can be improved, but the fact that he can shoot pretty consistently will honestly fit the playstyle of Golden State Warriors much better. But I think Dwight Howard could be a potentially great fit as well. Obviously, he doesn't provide a lot on offense, but when it comes to, his experience in the game, teaching players like James Wiseman, Kevon Looney on how to be better big men, I think honestly that could be seen with Dwight Howard. So I don't see it as a perfect flop if he does end up getting signed by the Golden State Warriors, because all the players we are going through today, Golden State Warriors have shown interest to, but I still do see, DeMarcus Cousins as a better fit instead of Dwight Howard. So the fourth player we are going to be talking about is Montrezl Harrell. So I have done a video on Montrezl Harrell before. He stands at 6'7", 240 pounds and does play that center position. So he is a bit of a smaller big man, but he definitely plays that big man position very, very well. Last season, he actually averaged 13.1 points per game, 6.1 rebounds, and 2 assists, which I think is very, very good. Now, when it comes to Montrezl Harrell, when it comes to his shooting, his inside presence, I think his inside presence is honestly fantastic. He definitely puts up high percentage shots. Last season, he actually averaged in the field goal percentage of 64%. Okay, usually you see big men around the 50% range, but his inside game is honestly ridiculous. And for him to, still average 12-13 points at 64% is really, really good. Now, he doesn't have a three-point shot at all. Okay, no offense, I wouldn't trust Montrezl Harrell on the three, unfortunately, but he does have a pretty good mid-range, more like a floater type elbow shot game, so he does have a little bit of that in his bag. However, as you all know, Golden State Warriors is a three-point shooting team, and the fact that Montrezl Harrell can't really shoot that three, it's really undecided whether that will fit. Now, whether I see Montrezl Harrell fitting, what I do see is him being able to run the small ball lineup that Golden State Warriors seem to love. It does seem that Golden State Warriors love to run, their center at around, 6'10" probably max. James Wiseman is definitely a big center nowadays, but when it comes to running that small ball, the fast-paced game, Golden State Warriors or Steve Kerr definitely love that, and I think that's where Montrezl Harrell does fit. Now, talking about DeMarcus Cousins again, why I do see, DeMarcus Cousins as a better fit than Montrez is that DeMarcus Cousins a little bit more experience. I feel like Montrez will definitely fill a spot, but he'd definitely look to get that starter role eventually if Draymond leaves, or I don't know, maybe Kevon Looney decides to leave or something like that. What I really do see is Montrezl Harrell, he's still kind of young. Okay, a lot of people don't realize that he's still a very young player when it comes to NBA years, so he still has a lot of years left. So he's not looking to be, a second unit 15th spot roster type of guy. He's looking to make an impact, pay 15, 20, 30 minutes a game easily. With DeMarcus Cousins a bit different. Obviously, he's at the end of his career. He is getting older and he's just looking to contribute whichever way possible. So that's why I see DeMarcus Cousins a better fit than Montrezl Harrell when it comes to the amount of players they already have on Golden State Warriors roster. I feel like Montrezl Harrell wants that maybe starting position or maybe a really huge role-playing position. However, they probably couldn't give that with him, especially with that 15th roster spot. And the fifth player we are going to be talking about that the Golden State Warriors could sign is LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, LaMarcus Aldridge is definitely one of the last bigs that are left on the free agency list. A lot of the other great players that are still available all are guards, and I feel like Golden State Warriors are looking to fill the last position with a small forward or bigger, whether it's power forward or center. So LaMarcus Aldridge actually stands at 6'11", 250 pounds. He plays that power forward position, so he is a tall power forward, especially in today's NBA. And obviously, he did play for the Brooklyn Nets last season. So he did average pretty good stats, 12.9 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, and 1 block per game, which is honestly really good despite the fact that he wasn't playing a lot of minutes. So last season, he put up a really good fight, even though only averaging around 20 minutes, 18 minutes a game. So for him to put up those stats, very, very good. He does have a great shooting mechanics. He can definitely shoot the mid-range. His three-point is definitely solid as well. So he does fit the system of the Golden State Warriors. So when it comes to play style, I feel like LaMarcus Aldridge really does fit the Golden State Warriors play style very, very well. Now, where I put DeMarcus Cousins over LaMarcus Aldridge, like I've done throughout this whole video, is that LaMarcus Aldridge, unfortunately, is a little bit injury prone. Now, don't get me wrong, so is DeMarcus Cousins, but lately LaMarcus Aldridge, obviously he has a lot of heart problems and all that, so he honestly could not play, a couple of games, especially for the Brooklyn Nets, and then there was all these complications with that, and I really hope LaMarcus Aldridge is okay with everything that has been going on with him, but unfortunately, it is really hard to have a player like that when there will be games he has to sit out because, he might be experiencing heart problems or anything like that. So obviously, Golden State Warriors would want a player that they can use day in, day out. Thankfully that he doesn't get injured, and DeMarcus Cousins can definitely do that. Now, I think Cousins has definitely changed his game in order for him to not be as injury prone as he has been in the past. DeMarcus Cousins is a really big, heavy guy, so I think that's why a lot of his problems really do come from his knees, ankles, all that stuff, is because there's a lot of weight being moved around. But DeMarcus Cousins has supposedly lost a little bit of weight, and he's done a lot of rehab to get him back on track, so I do see him actually lasting for the rest of maybe next season and also for the next couple of years injury free. So fingers crossed he does that. But when it comes to who I think is perfect for the Golden State Warriors for that 15th roster spot, I think it's DeMarcus Cousins. Guys, let me know down in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Peace.